Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today, the review I'm doing is on the movie Ghosted. This fun spy movie by Apple TV Plus is now available on Hulu Plus. It's rated PG-13 and is an hour and 56 minutes. My movie review mom grade is a C plus, maybe a C minus. And let me explain why. I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, where I will tell you things I like and things I don't like about the movie, as well as tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines and funny lines if there are any, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that I think you might like or maybe even like better. Sound good? All right, let's dive in. In a nutshell, a farmer falls in love with a woman who he learns is actually a spy for the CIA. She readily offers that information, which made me laugh because you're not supposed to do that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Together, they're swept off on a dangerous mission to save the world. Chris Evans stars in the movie and was also one of the producers. The action flick was directed by Dexter Fletcher, and the writing team included Rhett Reese, Paul Warnick, and Chris McKenna. So Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, who were the big stars of the movie, also starred together in the film Knives Out back in 2019 and The Gray Man more recently, just last year in 2022. So there were a lot of things I really liked about this movie. And don't get me wrong, despite the grade, I did get a kick out of it. I'll tell you about some of the flaws here in just a minute. But I thought the cast was stellar and includes Chris Evans, Captain America. Hello, I love him. Ana de Armas, who is fantastic and really has been experimenting with a variety of films to show off her acting chops. Academy Award winner Adrian Brody. Hello. Anthony Mackie, Mike Moe, Amy Sedaris, Tate Donovan, multi-award nominee Tim Blake Nelson, and more. They all did a fantastic job. I love it when movies reference other movies. And in this one, Chris Evans's character talks about the movie The Exorcist. And if you're interested in that type of a movie, be sure and check out my movie review that I just recently did called The Pope's Exorcist. Oh, creepy, starring Russell Crowe. But I digress. All right, back to this movie. This film captures the fun and magic of meeting someone for the first time and being mesmerized by everything about them. Yep, I remember that feeling. I've now been married for 35 years. We get to travel to London. I'm going to go there in August. And actually, I'm going to be there tomorrow on a quick layover for somewhere else. But I love London. I've been there several times, and my husband just absolutely loves it. And so we love going back. We also get to travel to Pakistan and various cities in the USA in this movie. There's a fun and punchy musical soundtrack that's also humorous at times, given what's happening on the screen. There's a hilarious cameo performance, but I don't want to ruin it for you by telling you who it is. It's at the 1 hour, 39-minute mark, and it just made me laugh. Some of the fight sequences are actually pretty entertaining and very creative. Now, I can't compare that to the John Wick choreographed fight sequences, which are the top. They are the gold standard in fight sequences. But I laughed and got a kick out of some of the ones in this movie. The family dynamics and Chris Evans' character's family are cute and fun. We can definitely more relate to his character as the everyday man, as opposed to the beautiful Ana de Armas, who's this CIA spy with all of these skills and stuff. However, that brings me to a couple of other points, things that I didn't like. I really do like Ana de Armas. I think she's beautiful. I think she's talented, but it was really distracting watching her. I was wondering if she was wearing a wig because her hair looked super fake and plastered in every single scene. And I kept looking closely to try to figure out what was going on. Maybe that was part of the allure, was that she was the perfect polished agent. I don't know. the dialogue is pretty bad. There are some moments, but they're good. But overall, considering the star power in this cast, they should have brushed it over a time or two more before they started filming it, because these stars deserved better dialogue, in my opinion. It was a missed opportunity that Chris Evans' character didn't have a final wrestling showdown with one of the bad guys, because it was sort of a running gag that, the dad wanted Chris Evans' new girlfriend to know he wrestled in high school. And so it would have been fun to see them like on some mat actually doing wrestling moves. So it just would have been a cute wink to the audience. And they didn't really do that. He fought people, but it wasn't really classic wrestling moves. If it was, I guess I didn't catch that, but it didn't look like, the whole wrestling moves. Another missed opportunity was not having a fun scene at the very end of the rolling credits. I love those. And this is a type of fun, goofy movie with its tongue in cheek for the humor and the action that just seemed like that should have been a part of this movie. The shtick is that Chris Evans's character is supposed to be ill-equipped for the spy life. And yet we all know him as Captain America. And while I'm a huge fan of Chris Evans and did like him in this role, I thought maybe a goofier actor would have been more believable in this role. Someone who we didn't associate with having superhero skills, you know what I mean? So there was a little bit of character growth. I would have liked to have seen even more between the couple. I always look for that. Some green screen moments were a little bit distracting, but otherwise it did seem like they filmed in large part on location. Now, let me give you some tips for parents. There's a woman who asks a man if he wants to get high with her on edibles. He declines, but she goes and partakes. A couple has a one-night stand, and later we see them rolling around in the sheets, and it extends into more than just one night. There is some blood. There's some gross torture with deadly bugs. There's lots of violence and a high dead body count, people in perilous situations, and some crude conversations about intimate relations. So there were some themes that were illustrated very well. For example, romance, courage, honesty, greed, power, sacrifice, and out of all of the, ninja, karate, fighting skills, quick thinking skills, critical thinking skills are highly valued in this movie. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines just to give you a taste of the movie and a kind of a feel for the dialogue. All right, so I'll share some of them with you right now. You can see them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So they're actually, I think were they in England? I think, because there was a British taxi driver, and actually he's not credited in the movie. It was Bern Gorman. And so he says goodbye, and he doesn't say goodbye, he says poodle pip. And I had never heard that before, so I wrote it down because I thought it was cute. Borislav is played by Tim Blake Nelson, and he's hilarious. And he says, when you meet a celebrity, your IQ drops 50 points. And it was just so random, and also made me laugh. Chris Evans plays Cole Turner, this bumbling everyday guy. And he's trying to figure out, first of all, what's going on. And then he gets onto the same page with the spy and is trying to, fight bad guys and stuff. And so he's like, stick him up. And then another point, he's like, oh, I swallowed a rock, as he's definitely the comic relief. Ana de Armas is the suave, beautiful, sexy, skilled CIA agent. And she talks to him about having cactus behavior, where she wants to be left alone. She doesn't want to have to be constantly cared for and smothered, basically. And so she's talking to him, and this is sort of a running gag throughout the whole movie, but she tells him, you stalkered your way across the globe to find me. That is not cactus behavior. And he actually brings her a cactus to show that he is a cactus, but he's not, because he sent her a million text messages and she didn't reply. So then he flies all the way over to England, anyway. Some of the interesting lines are one spoken by Sadie, who's played by Ana de Armas, and she says several times, you can choose not being scared. And she really prides herself on not being fearful and just having courage and just doing it. And then another conversation, she says, we only have one life and you're afraid to live it. And she says that to Chris Evans, who is kind of afraid, of everything, really. And then, well, no, I won't say this last line because it's kind of a spoiler. So never mind. I'll hold you in suspense. All right. So let me give you some recommendations for some other movies that are sort of similar. One that is immediately comparable to this one is just an oldie but a goodie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think back in the 80s or maybe 90s. It's called True Lies. And Jamie Lee Curtis just thinks she's married to a regular guy, an insurance salesman or whatever. And turns out, he's a spy with skills. Anyway, it's pretty cute and it's funny and it's not so serious like this one. Another one that I immediately thought of is a Netflix action comedy called The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and other people. I won't give it all away, but I did a movie review on that one. So you can check that out. But they are not spies. They are two bumbling regular people and they're being shot at. And it's pretty cute. And there's the romantic element. And then another one came to my mind. I think it came out last year. It's called The Courier. And it's a regular guy in England. And it's based on a true story, believe it or not. And he actually ends up spying in Russia. And it's really interesting, especially because it's based on a true story. I did a movie review of that one as well, so you can check out that one. All right, I hope if you watch this movie, you get a kick out of it. Don't expect a whole lot. Just plan on it being goofy and silly, kind of a popcorn movie to laugh at and have fun. And, don't get all uptight if the plot has holes in it, which it does, and that kind of stuff. But I hope you enjoy it. And when you get a minute, run over to Instagram and check out my Instagram page called Movie Review Mom. But then also run over to my other Instagram called Trina Boice. That's me. That's my author profile page. And I've got all kinds of stuff on that one anyway. Thank you again for supporting me. And be sure to subscribe if you found this video to be helpful. And like it if you found it to be helpful. And let other people know to come on over here and get the honest scoop on movies. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.